It has recently been announced that Melanie Bush will be returning to Doctor Who for Series 14, but is there more to this return than it first seems? Okay, so for this episode of the podcast, I'm not only going to be talking about the return of Mel Bush and how I think it might be more than what they've suggested in the initial announcement, but after I've done that, I'm also going to be talking about the new 15th Doctor costume that has been spotted during filming and ranking all of the 15th Doctor's costumes we've seen so far. But obviously, before I do that, we're first going to talk about Mel's return, and I'm going to start off by reading the article that was linked in the original announcement, which is titled "Welcome Back, Bonnie Langford returns to Doctor Who as Mel Bush." And this article reads, "Star of stage and screen, Bonnie Langford will once again reprise her legendary role as Melanie Bush as she returns to Doctor Who, this time starring alongside Ncuti Gatwa, who plays the 15th Doctor in the new series. Bonnie first entered the world of Doctor Who in 1986 as the companion to the 6th and 7th Doctors, played by Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, both returning in a cameo role in Jodie Whittaker's final episode as the 13th Doctor. Making her West End debut at just 7 years old in Gone with the Wind, Bonnie has since gone on to lead an outstanding career. From her countless performances on both Broadway and West End, such as Chicago, 9 to 5 and Cats, to her award-winning role as Carmel Kazemi on EastEnders. Now Bonnie is back as Melanie returns for another epic adventure. And here we see the picture of her seemingly on a helipad, which is something I'll be discussing later on in this video. Bonnie Langford said, "I'm absolutely thrilled to be bringing Melanie Bush back. To be part of the exceptional cast, crew and production team led by the force of nature that is Russell T Davies is a career highlight. I'm so privileged and proud to have been a member of the Doctor Who family since the classic era, and to be included in the new generation is phenomenal." Showrunner Russell T Davies said, "Open those TARDIS doors wide because Bonnie's back. What an honour, delight and hoot to welcome back the character of Melanie after too long away. And this isn't just a cameo. Bonnie is right in the thick of the action, battling monsters and chaos and cliffhangers, right at the Doctor's side, just like the old days." And then it just goes on to say about how Doctor Who is returning in 2023 with the specials and about the Disney Plus deal. Now, it's been figured out that this filming with Bonnie Langford returning as Mel Bush, which was kind of leaked through some set photos where they tried to kind of hide her from the public but didn't manage to do a great job of it, and I think that's why this press release has been made. That bit of filming seems to be for the finale, which some people are speculating is going to be a two-part finale like usual, and she's been seen running around with Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor, which is also where we've seen Ncuti Gatwa's new costume, which is what I'm going to be talking about later. But I think it's very likely there's a lot more to this return than just that two-part story in Series 14, and I'm going to explain why I think that. So the first bit of evidence for this is from almost exactly a year ago when the 60th anniversary was filming with David Tennant and Catherine Tate, and you can hear Donna say to the Doctor, "What about Mel?" So as you can see, Donna seems to say, "What about Mel?" to which the Doctor replies, "Oh yeah, she's brilliant, isn't she?" Which led a lot of people to speculate that Mel might be appearing in one of the episodes of the 60th anniversary specials. Although at the time this wasn't really confirmed and was mostly just speculation, and it was a possibility that they could have been talking about a different character named Mel. But now it's seeming more and more likely that this is Mel Bush that they're talking about, and that Bonnie Langford will be appearing in at least one of the episodes during the 60th anniversary special. There was also an exclusive leak from The Mirror back in October, which also hinted at the return of Bonnie Langford as Mel Bush, saying that she was set to reprise her role for a cameo in Series 14 alongside Ncuti Gatwa, which fits a lot more with the recent announcement we've had of her being in Series 14 alongside Ncuti Gatwa. I'm not going to read this whole article like the last one because this one's been out for a while, so some people have probably already read it themselves or heard about it, and it has now basically been confirmed because of the official announcement that she will be in Series 14, which is what this was talking about. So from this and the 60th anniversary filming from last year, it seems that Bonnie Langford will be appearing in both the 60th anniversary specials and a couple of episodes of Series 14. But I think there's even more to it than that, as in November last year, random Doctor Who tweets on Twitter found what looks like a unit helipad in the back lot of Wolf Studios, which is the studios for Bad Wolf, who is producing Doctor Who this time round, whilst they were randomly browsing Google Maps. And and this location looks very similar to where Mel appears to be stood in the announcement image that they took of her. So what I think this means is that when we are going to see Mel Bush in both the 60th anniversary specials and Series 14, there is a chance that she has been recruited by Kate Stewart, which we saw at the end of Power of the Doctor, to work for UNIT, and that she'll be working for UNIT for these episodes that she appears in. But once again, that's not everything, as of course there's also been a lot of rumours that the first main Doctor Who spin-off we will get during RTD's second era will be a UNIT spin-off. Now previously it's been speculated that obviously it will be headed up by Kate Stewart, played by Gemma Redgrave, which I still absolutely think is going to be true, and she's also clearly appearing in Series 14 and possibly the 60th anniversary specials, although I don't know how likely that part is. But people were speculating that she could be joined by some other companions, such as Martha Jones, or maybe Ace and Tegan, who we saw in Power of the Doctor, maybe Eve Miles coming back as Gwen Cooper from Torchwood. Also, whilst I'm here, I think it's worth mentioning that Freema Agyeman, who plays Martha Jones, when recently asked if she was involved in the 60th anniversary specials, gave a very intriguing answer, to which she said she doesn't know how to answer that question and we'll just have to wait and see.
I don't know what to say. I think that, let's just wait and see what happens. Sorry.
Which seems to suggest that she could be appearing in the 60th anniversary specials, or at least returning to Doctor Who at some point in the near future, which makes it a lot more likely that she could appear in the UNIT spin-off if that is happening. And those cast members could absolutely still be part of this UNIT spin-off, but now it's seeming more and more likely, especially if Mel is working for UNIT, that she will also be a part of this team for this rumoured UNIT spin-off if it does happen, which is seeming more and more likely. Now, it does also kind of give off the same vibes as School Reunion from Series 2, where we see the return of beloved classic Doctor Who companion Sarah Jane Smith in that episode, which then also led into a spin-off for the first RTD era, that being Sarah Jane Adventures. So it is almost giving off the same vibe. However, I personally haven't seen any episodes with Mel in it. I haven't watched a whole bunch of Classic Who, and I've never seen an episode that she's in. But from what I understand, Mel is not as much of a beloved Classic Who companion as Sarah Jane Smith was, as far as I'm aware, they almost resorted her character to just being a screaming damsel in distress, and almost made her a one-dimensional character from what I've heard. So it seems like this return of Mel Bush could be almost some sort of redemption to her character of some kind, and it could be seen as the writers giving her another chance to actually be a really well fleshed out character and give her the chance that she should have had back in Classic, instead of just being resorted to a one-dimensional damsel in distress that was screaming all the time, which I think is really nice opportunity to give Bonnie Langford, as although I haven't seen her in anything personally, she's clearly a very talented actor from all the stuff that's been mentioned in the article that she's been in, especially with them also seemingly getting her to work for UNIT, likely making use of computer skills that I've heard she has recently, that I assume were not very well utilised back in the Classic era of the show after they, like I said, turned her into a one-dimensional character. So I think it's really nice that they're giving her this opportunity. And also the spin-off that they're kind of setting up with her if she is part of UNIT is very different to the spin-off that they set up with Sarah Jane, as Sarah Jane wasn't really part of any organisation. She was just a journalist working on her own, and obviously then got involved with the kids at Bannerman Road, with Luke, Clyde, Rani, Maria, whereas this spin-off, she's probably going to have already been working for UNIT, or maybe we'll see where she started to work for UNIT, and she's going to be part of a bigger team, with possibly the main focus actually being around Kate Stewart, and it not just being, the Mel Bush adventures or something like that. So although it is almost a rehash of what RTD did in his first era in Series 2 with Sarah Jane, it does seem a little bit unique in that sense, and not like he's just doing the exact same thing again, which is nice. So like I said, I haven't actually seen any episodes with Bonnie Langford as Mel Bush in Classic Show. I might get around to doing that before we actually see her return, but I do think there is a lot more to this return than the initial announcement says, and they're just wanting to still keep that under wraps because it's not properly leaked as much yet as them seeing her on set for Series 14, and the UNIT spin-off is still mostly just speculation, and there's obviously no confirmation that she's in the 60th anniversary specials yet, although it is seeming quite likely. But as I said, during this filming with Ncuti Gatwa and Bonnie Langford for the Series 14 finale, where we see both of them together, we have also got a look at another of Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor costumes, further cementing the idea that he's going to have probably a new costume for every story. In this new costume, he appears to be wearing a plain white t-shirt, some jeans, and a black leather jacket, which is quite the departure from what his standard look seems to be, although I suppose he doesn't really have that consistent of a look throughout anyway. But I at least thought maybe like the orange and the like brown jackets and stuff like that were going to kind of be a through line for his costumes, besides obviously the costumes that appear to be one-offs for a particular era that they've gone back in time to, such as the 60s one and the Regency outfit, which just seem to be more the Doctor and Ruby dressing appropriate for the time, just maybe for a little bit of fun or to blend in a little bit more. So this one does seem a lot more like a bit of a departure, but I still don't hate it. I think Ncuti looks really good in it, but it does seem a lot less doctory and a lot less consistent with the other outfits. So now I'm going to get on with ranking them, and I've pretty much said what I need to say about that outfit, so I might as well put that one in the tier list first so I don't have to repeat myself later on. So for what I've said so far, although I don't hate the outfit, I think I'm first going to put this one in C tier just for now, because like I said, it doesn't seem as consistent with those other ones, and there doesn't seem to be as much more of a reason for it to be as inconsistent with the other ones like other outfits are. But I also don't hate it, so I might move it up a little bit further on once I've ranked all the other ones. So for the rest of the outfits, I'm going to kind of try and go in the order that I'm pretty sure they were announced in. And by the way, I should be able to have this tier list linked in the description. I did have to make it myself, but it should be publicly available on the Tier Maker website still. So if you want to do your own ranking of these, you should be able to find that in the description. So I'm first going to start off with the officially announced costume reveal for Ncuti Gatwa, which although I do personally think it looks pretty good, and I think Ncuti looks great in it, it doesn't look that much like a doctory outfit. I know I've heard a lot of people describe it as very H&M, and I think some of the items might actually be from H&M, and it does definitely look that way. I'm really liking the orange on him that he seems to be wearing throughout a lot of the costumes. But yeah, this outfit does seem very like H&M shop bought, and it doesn't actually feel that doctory to me, but I still like it. I know there has been rumors that this is the costume that's also going to have a hat involved in it, but I'd have to wait till we see that to actually judge it with that in mind. But yeah, for now, I think I'm going to have to put this in B tier. I might move it up to A tier at some point, we'll see. Because like I say, I don't hate it, it just doesn't feel entirely that doctory for me. I mean, the general silhouette of it kind of does with the long coat, but besides that, it does feel very H&M shop bought, and for lack of a better term, it doesn't seem as quirky, I guess, as other Doctor Who outfits are. And there's definitely better outfits that we've seen him in since then than this officially announced one. So moving on to the outfit that we've probably had the least good of a look at, we just have this one, maybe two blurry photos from very far distance of Ncuti in this outfit, but he appears to be wearing some sort of long kind of orange raincoat, I think. I've also heard people describe it as yellow, but to me it looks orange, and that would make sense considering orange seems to be a pretty consistent theme in this Doctor's costumes, at least when it comes to his main costumes and not his one-off period appropriate outfits. And he also appears to be wearing a sort of red burgundy-ish kind of beanie, which, trying to imagine this in my mind's eye, what it would look like with a more detailed image, I think it would actually look really nice and possibly better than the officially announced outfit, and probably more Doctor-like. But because we've only got these really low-res, blurry, at a distance images of this costume, it's really difficult to make an actual judgment on this because it might end up looking worse than I'm imagining it in my head. So I don't want to put it above the officially announced costume yet, just in case when we get a proper official look at this costume, even if that ends up being when we actually see the show proper, it might be worse than I'm imagining in my head. But there's a possibility, if we had got an official image by this point, that I would put it in A tier because it does look like it's going to be better than the officially announced costume reveal. Now we get to the costume that seems to be what the Doctor is wearing for the Christmas special, his first episode as the 15th Doctor, where he's got this long brown leather jacket, some blue trousers on, some trainers, and once again this orange shirt. This is definitely the 15th Doctor's best outfit that we've seen so far. I think it's possibly one of my favorite Doctor costumes of all time. I mean, I should probably wait till we see it actually in an official official image and in the show to actually make that decision, but I don't think I'd be wrong in thinking that this is one of the best Doctor costumes of all time, in my opinion. And I've never cosplayed as a Doctor before, but if I did, this would definitely be one of the ones that I'd be wanting to try and do. Now, like I said, it does seem like the 15th Doctor is possibly going to wear a different outfit for every story, at least for series 14, which means that this first Christmas special, Ncuti Gatwa's first full episode as the Doctor, might be the only time we see this costume. But if he is going to wear any costume again for another episode and wear a costume more than once, I would really like it to be this one, even if we don't get to see it for a second time in series 14, maybe just in series 15, or if he has more of a consistent outfit or just a couple of outfits in series 15. I really want to see this one return and not just be a one-off, because I think it is one of the best Doctor costumes we've ever got, like I said. Although I suppose if any outfit is going to be reused more than once, I guess it would probably be the officially announced costume reveal one, because that's what they used to reveal his costume. But I would much prefer it to be this one if he had like a main outfit. So I'm obviously going to put this in S tier. I'd be crazy not to. Okay, now we get on to the swinging 60s with this outfit that's kind of like a blue pinstripe suit, and somehow he's got an afro in this episode as well, which I don't know how he's got that. I don't know if he's just got a wig on. Obviously, I think Ncuti actually has a wig on in real life for this to work, but in terms of in the show, in universe, I don't know if the Doctor just wears a wig, if he's able to grow his hair out using some regeneration ability we don't know about, or if they've just been trapped in like the 60s for a little while, or even if this whole outfit and get-up is something that's outside of his control and he's not done it himself. Maybe Jinx Monsoon's character's done it to him or something and trapped him in this outfit and in this time period. For all we know, that could be what's happened. But either way, this is also one of the best outfits we've seen Ncuti in, and he pulls it off really well. I do have a feeling it's only going to be used for this one episode, which I am fine with, because it's clearly there for a reason, for a purpose, because they're in the 60s, or even, like I say, maybe he's not even chosen to wear it and they've just been forced into this time period in this outfit by some other character. But I'm perfectly fine, as much as I like this costume, for it to just appear in the one episode, because it's clearly doing that for a purpose and it's there for a reason. But it does definitely deserve A tier. It's definitely better than some of the other costumes that we've seen. And similarly, now we get on to the Regency era costume that we've seen, with the photos of the Doctor and Jonathan Groff's character and Millie Gibson all in that photo shoot in that fancy house on the stairs. This one is probably my least favorite outfit, but once again, it's kind of doing the same thing as the 60s one, where it's clearly there to serve a purpose. The Doctor and Ruby are likely just wearing it either to fit in or just to have a bit of fun whilst they're in that time period. And so I don't hate it or anything. It's obviously there for a reason. I just don't think it personally looks as good as any of the other ones. For now, I think that is how I want to leave it. That looks pretty good to me. Like I say, the kind of raincoat beanie outfit maybe could go up in the rankings when we get a better look at it, because the way I'm picturing it in my head, it will deserve an A ranking, but it might not look exactly how I'm thinking it does in my head, and we'll need to wait till we get a proper look at that before I can make a judgment on it. I assume this is all the costumes we're maybe going to see. Maybe there's some where they've been filming like in studio where he's wearing a different outfit, but it's probably going to be a while till we see another costume now, especially considering the last one we've seen is, I believe, for the last filming block and for the finale of series 14. So as far as I'm aware, this probably is all the outfits for this series, and it would be a little bit wild if there were even more outfits in this, because this is already a lot of outfit variations for one Doctor for one series of the show. So as far as I'm aware, this probably is all of them, and I think I'm pretty happy with the ranking I've done so far. And like I say, the one I've put in S tier, the Christmas special one, is one of my favourite Doctor costumes of all time, not just for the 15th Doctor, but for the Doctor as a whole, and I think he looks great in it, so I hope we see that one return. But let me know what you think in the comments, if you agree with my ranking, if you disagree with any of these rankings. Let me know what your favourite 15th Doctor costume is so far, and what your least favourite is if you want. I'm going to be releasing some videos in the next couple of weeks on everything we know for all the individual episodes for the 2023 60th anniversary specials. They're all going to get their own videos for each of the 3 episodes, and then I'll probably do a compilation at the end for all of the 2023 specials, including the Christmas special featuring Ncuti Gatwa as his first full-time appearance as the 15th Doctor. So subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss that, and thanks for watching.